Fire away.
All right, perfect. Well, welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody again. It's been since November, since last year, that we were all together. So it feels good to kick off the calendar year 2026, fiscal year 2027 budget season. Gonna follow through with a few regular introductory remarks that I usually do, and then we'll get into the agenda in just a second. But for all those watching, my name is John Loy. I'm the FinCom Chair and would like to call tonight's meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, February 11th at 7:02. Before we get started, I'd like to have all the members introduce themselves, starting off on my far left.
My name is Pete Ruby. Brett Hausler.
Heidi Gilmore.
Joyce Boyardi.
Michael Cron. Eric Martinson. Mark Johnson.
Jen Zarowski.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. And before we get too far into the meeting, I'd like to introduce our new assistant, Amanda Wells, who is sitting off of Zoom, but just off to our right here. Want to welcome you to FinCom. Do you want to give us just a 3 or 4 sentence highlight of who you are and what you do here in town?
Sure. Should I go over to the?
No.
Okay.
It's picking.
Oh, wait, it's picking up.
Yeah.
So I am the staff accountant in the finance office for the town of Millis. I love it. I love working for the town and everybody that I work with, and I'm really excited to start this, new journey of being an admin for the finance committee.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, we're excited to have you here. I know that we've been working together with the town administrator, with finance director Jody, myself, you, and Jim Donovan, our IT person, getting things off the ground and running. So it's exciting to do that. Also here, I'd like to remind everybody that there are many ways to access this finance committee meeting and the material. Unfortunately, there's a miscommunication and Millis Media is not picking this meeting up tonight. However, it is being broadcasted on YouTube Live, so you will be able to see it there. You can also watch it at home on your local access channel on Comcast Channel 6, I believe, and Verizon Channel 38. Usually it's on millismedia.org. I said YouTube. Just like Select Board, School Committee, you can also attend in person if you wish. And last, all the material that we review tonight in the meeting can be found on the Millis website under the Finance Committee webpage. We don't have any of the usual microphones, which is because of the Millis Media. However, we can speak freely without microphones, and we should be able to have the mic pick it up here. So, couple last comments, and then we'll dive into the agenda. And that is, my intent for this budget season, for not only for everybody, but especially for us as members, is I want to make sure that we have 4 new members. I want to make sure everyone learns as much as they can during this process. There's a few kind of veteran seasoned people that are here that have heard this before. So we're gonna just ask questions on a regular basis and make sure and check in with whatever department is presenting and ask questions there so we have a full understanding. So it's kind of open like that. Any questions though, we want to funnel those through me, the chair, and then we can ask the department and have a productive session every time we meet. Everybody, does that sound good? All right, sound good. So recreation, Chris Fogarty, welcome.
Fogarty, Millis Recreation Director. Welcome to the new members. It's great to see some new faces, and I look forward to answering any and all questions and getting to know all of you. I know a few of you have reached out to me, so I look forward to sitting maybe one-on-one with you in the near future. Tonight I'm here to present my budget for FY 27. And I'll just get started by giving you a few highlights. We have gotten a new program coordinator position that was reevaluated and reclassified. And I'm happy to welcome Jeff Page, who is the new program coordinator, and he started in September. He's absolutely outstanding, and we're very lucky to have him. We have increased the summer fun week staff and the participation as of last year. The carnival has returned and was very successful once again. We did add a fourth day and as well as the fireworks, so that was really, really very successful last summer. And they're coming back again. We just booked the dates. Actually, the fireworks as of last week, so. We also were able to establish a few gift funds for some of the events that we offer to help offset the costs to the, you know, we don't want to charge the town, so we reach out and try to get some sponsorships. Two of those, for example, are the Santa Parade and, like I just said, the fireworks, so. Yes.
So I have a question actually, if, when we can ask questions as we go along here. So, just to take one step back on the carnival, can you add some explanation in terms of what makes that successful, adding another day? Is it pure revenue to the town? It is, okay.
So the town, off the top of my head, I don't remember what, it was probably about $17,000 that went into the general fund last year from the carnival.
Okay,
We get about 20% of whatever they earn. And
and that 20% was the 17,000 last year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, just going off your last comment of the gift funds, can you explain a little bit? Are those just the Santa Parade, or is there anything that,
we have
you said established, so were these established or these?
for two new that were established last year. So we've had one that is, it includes a few of the events that we have. So like the fishing derby, we have Splash Day. Again, off the top of my head there, I know there's something else that is in that one. Oh, and then we have Summer Concert Series. That is actually a separate one as well. So these are all separate. It's just so we can take in funding, anybody who wants to donate. It is funds that are specifically when people donate for those particular events. So that it's not, you know, somebody donates to the Santa Parade, it's not being used for something else.
Perfect. Mike Crowe?
Well, you were on the carnival. Is it the policy of the company that you work with for the carnival that it can only be their vendors? Or can you set up something in conjunction with the carnival where you could have local businesses and so forth participate?
Great question. Yes, we have, so for food, they do their own food. We don't bring in, say, the Lions Club to do burgers and whatnot. But what we have done in the past was we had, in conjunction with the carnival, a vendor fair.
Okay.
Kind of next to, we were trying to play off the feel of Millis Pride Day. Truth be told, people are there for the carnival and they're not going over and going to the vendors. So we just didn't think it was successful for them.
Thanks.
Having been one.
Sounds good.
Agree.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to a few of the department goals. There's been a few questions that have come up. We have just briefly talked to and revisited maybe creating some sort of type of revolving fund, looking at that in the future. We were a revolving fund at one point. After some discussion, we found it best to perhaps make everything be in the budget, including salaries and any expenses.
Is it, can I pause for a second? Is it possible for you to kind of give us a brief history of where things were in the revolving fund, where they are now, and why you're requesting it?
Sure, briefly.
Yep.
I could be here all night
we-
explaining the entire thing. It was a special revenue fund where anything that came in, anything that went out was in this special, it was called a special revenue fund. That included salaries, anything that was related to recreation. That being said, we found it a little difficult we're a small town. Unless you inflate the fees you know, it's very difficult to pay a person's salary. That being said, I was a 30 hour employee, and then I had a 10-hour employee in my office. So it was manageable. We've grown, as well as the town has grown. So there was more hours, there was more expenses. So we said, you know what, rather than trying to pay for the salaries, let's do the salaries in the budget. We'll take the revolving fund and pay for all the expenses. It turned into a different kind of fund that was a 53.5. And that kind of changed things a little bit. And not only did it include paying for salaries, paying for everything involved, it also then on top of it included paying for insurance for myself and the other employee. Not ideal. So again, we've revisited it and tried to find a happy medium, which is now what we have currently. So we have it in the budget with salaries and expenses. Moving forward, it was just a lump sum of $100,000. So working with Jody, our finance director, we've broken it down. So that I can absolutely provide for you. I don't have it here, but we're finding a great balance.
Fine,
Okay,
fine.
balance was good.
It's been a long road. I feel like right now, again, I have it in here as a department goal to revisit it. It's not mandatory. I'm not like, oh, we have to get this back. We're just trying to find that sweet balance of everything. But right now, as it is, how the budget is set up, I'm more than happy.
Okay. Anyone have any questions on it? Go ahead, Eric.
You go first, Mike.
Do we have a revenue report on this? Am I missing it somehow?
I just have a chart.
Oh, just the chart, okay,
Mhm.
Yes,
all right.
I don't
but
have,
that chart,
I
that,
have that. I can absolutely provide that for you,
No,
but
that's
I
okay.
don't have it.
No, so you're right, it's a,
yeah, sorry to interrupt, but this chart though is not accurate though, right?
It is accurate.
Oh, it is
Should be accurate.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
so you're anticipating 210,000 in revenue this year? Okay. Yep, thank you.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, I just had a question. So right now the revenue that you earn goes into the general fund?
Yes,
Yep. Okay, so, and you want to take the revenue you earn, put it into the revolving fund?
again, we're looking at different things. It could be just the revenue or something with the camps. Just
Okay, so a
doing
portion of it.
specific, yeah, portion of it, yeah, not everything.
So you're looking for a revolving fund, but it's still in process of what the final
Yes.
result looks like.
Yes.
Question, have you talked to other surrounding towns in terms of how they have their rec budget structured?
Typically, most other towns, again, it's different. It's different. Some people have enterprise funds. Most other towns have, it's called a 53D.
Okay,
That involves, you can't pay full-time salaries out of a 53D. But everything else, any expenses comes and goes out of that. And then at the end of the year, all that's in there goes back to the general fund, except for $10,000, just to, I don't want to use the word cushion, but it's to,
Yeah,
we're going into,
safety as a reserve.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Again, we're looking at it, it's a lot.
Okay.
So that's why we're just kind of throwing it out there. I probably should have taken it off there because it's not going to happen this year.
Okay, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
Mr. Chair, just.
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
Not specific to the budget, but in terms of the budget sheets in front of us, longevity, the definition of longevity under.
We'll get
I've been
there.
here 50 years, so that's my long.
Yeah. Once you reach that, you get a little bonus.
Going on,
You look at the,
gosh, 24 years.
we'll get to that sheet.
I know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, we're not
Ah,
there.
we've been bouncing around.
Well, yes and no. We're following that order. Go ahead, Chris.
One of the other department goals is we are looking to do more in-house programming. That involves, we have, again, our new program coordinator. Rather than paying outside vendors or hiring somebody else to come in and run a program, Jeff has come up with some great ideas, and just 3 examples, I'll just give you right off the top of my head. He's gonna start a running club for kids, a fitness club for kids, as well as he is going to slide into the role of the camp director. We're not paying that's part of his job. So it's cost saving, and all of that revenue, rather than paying for an instructor to come in or another company, it's going right back into the general fund.
Okay.
Other things, we're looking at increasing the number of weeks and, possibly hours for the get out and play weeks. We've had lots of requests to extend the hours, extend the weeks. In fairness, we do take into consideration that Extended Day does have a program already established, and again, dating myself, years back, it was this is how you should, don't take over something else, try to find a pivot and make something else happen, and that's what we've done. And then one of the other things is a new counselor in training program with the Get Out and Play weeks. So we call it the CIT. So if I refer to CIT, that's what that means. Form 2, just our staffing. It's myself as the director at 37.5 hours per week. And the program coordinator, who is 30 hours a week. That is our current staff.
Perfect. We're on the budget.
You're supposed to applaud that, like, wow, that's amazing. Do all
It is
this and
amazing.
that. Okay. I'm sorry, what was your question?
Are we on the budget page?
We are gonna go to the budget page.
Sure. And Amanda, if you want to try to broadcast that, if you can. Trial and error. While you're doing that, Pete Ruby, go ahead.
The staffing history or the staffing levels, or the hours, is it equivalent or is there growth requested in FY 27? So if I look at the straight line.
Yep.
Thanks.
I don't, if you, everybody, not everybody, there's a few of you that are new, and this might come up during the budget. Last year, the director's position was increased from 35 hours a week to 37.5 hours a week. And so, yeah, we're looking at this now, so there is another increase.
Yeah.
The program coordinator position was reevaluated and reclassified as of last year. Actually, I think it was in September. To be a little bit more competitive, it was on the low scale of things.
Mhm.
And when Erin left and we had to do the rehiring, we took another look at it.
So that's why I went from 44 up to 57,000.
Yes.
Okay, before we jump down a few lines here, do you wanna talk to us about longevity and answer Brett's question? Or what is longevity
Longevity is.
besides 150 years?
5 years, you get it. It's like a stipend,
Annual.
yes.
And you'll see that through other departments as well. Yep, good stuff. Okay, camp wages, that's going down
Yep,
to zero.
Yep. Incorporated in.
Anyone have, go ahead, Pete.
please defer if you'd like to, but, I think previously there were some, possibly camp wages that came out of our host community, impact funds. And, you can cover it here again or elsewhere, but I'm curious as to which of those funds, have gone away and which are you advocating for to retain in the budget but not funded for host community impact?
Sure.
funds?
Thank you for that. Actually, that is going to be my above level service request A. So originally, we received a grant for about $10,000 that we started the Get Out and Play Week camp. It's an inclusive camp, adaptive camp. Throughout the years, when the host agreement was available, we thought it was a perfect opportunity to take advantage of that. Employing the teens of our town and, giving them a job. We did the camp at a minimum at that point when we were receiving the funds. We knew it was going away. This was not going to be here forever. So therefore, over the past few years, we have increased the fees incrementally, so that once the host fund agreement went away and those funds went away, it would be self-funding. So we are at that point right now. Earlier today, I didn't send it out as my budget presentation, but I have a breakdown of this is what we're projecting, and if anybody needs a copy, I'll be more than happy to resend it, make a copy, get it to you. This is our
What is that?
projection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you could actually email that to Amanda, our assistant. She'll circulate it around and make sure it gets filed into the meeting material for tonight.
Perfect. So yes, we have been trying to be very fiscally responsible, knowing that this was not going to be a forever thing. So it's covered.
Okay.
The fees, so that request, we've covered the fees. What I'm asking for is it just to be put into the salary budget at this point. So we can continue the camp. Also, I met with the Board of Selectmen last week, and we are actively looking for more grants. I love grants. I think they're great. My opinion is they're temporary, and I didn't want to rely on that. So that is why we took the approach of increasing the fees just to, make it secure and be responsible. So, but again, we'll look for grants, absolutely, moving forward, and as always. Okay.
Mr.
Go ahead, Pete.
Just a follow-up, on the budget sheet, it lists 10 grand for 2027 requested, but the Form 4 lists 14,000, and not that, I'm trying to quibble, I'm just trying to make sure at the end we get it straight, we know where the additions come from.
Okay.
Is it 10 or is it 14, or am I just misinterpreting?
Okay, so this right here, the 10, the program supplies and expenses, 10,000?
Yes, yep. Yep, camp supplies, the above level service. plan.
Okay, so this is level serviced. The asterisk is the above level service, which is that request A.
Your request, A.
Yeah, and actually, the request from last year, when we were asking for the host fund agreement, this request is actually less from last year. Again, using Jeff as an in-house person, and then also reevaluating what we need for supplies and equipment for the camp. Last year, we requested 1,000. This year, we looked at it, it's about 700. So
they're two different requests then?
Yes.
Not the same,
Yep.
one is for supplies, the other one is for.
no, well, request A includes,
For the Get Out and Play.
To get out and play.
everything for the Get Out and Plays here.
Yeah.
Salaries would be $13,932. And then the 700, which is the last line item here, And that would be the request for 14,632.
Were you looking at that?
Down the bottom of.
Oh, yeah.
Schedule
Yeah,
A,
yeah.
request A.
Yep. All good? And then you have a second request B?
I have a second request. You also should have received the revenue and expenses chart.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at that, you can see it's trending. Our expenses are about, between 135, 130. So right now, currently, not including the camp or any of that stuff. This green, this is all level serviced. This does not include any of
Low
my
level.
above level. We're looking at how it's trending, and it seems as though our expenses are about 130 plus thousand. Right now, we're currently funded for 100,000, so we thought talking with Jody, we thought it would be acceptable to ask for a 15% increase. Just not to get it up to the 130, but to request the $15,000, just to, it's not a big ask, but let's. So that we
It's
don't have to
costing
come
more.
back and ask you to,
Yeah.
transfer money.
Yeah.
That being said, I do want to make it very clear, if the rec department comes in and we're asking for a transfer for our expenses, that is a good thing. It's a good thing because our programs are going up. That means we're having to pay for more instructors, but that in return also means that we're getting more revenue for the town.
Any question? Go ahead, Mike.
So basically to summarize your level funded budget, and you've got two requests for above funding. One of them is for the special camp, and then the other is for additional funds for expenses.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir Chair,
Go ahead.
I was just curious what the jump between 2023 and 2024 were. For-
COVID.
It was COVID,
Mm,
okay.
COVID. And COVID, that carried over for a couple of years where we were trying to make sure the expense line item was increased, and it just. It didn't.
Okay, and then just one other observation, I just noticed, although the expenses are increasing, the revenue seems to be above the
Yes,
expense increase, so it seems like for every dollar expense, we're increasing revenue by more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
basically the split is just, I know you guys aren't in recreation, but any program we run, it's an 80-20 split. So we pay the instructor 80%, we get 20%. So everything that we run is self-funded. And any other extras like goes towards, free events like the Halloween touch a drive, the Father's Day fishing derby or anything like that. Those funds go directly back into the rec department.
Sure.
Go ahead, Eric.
This is great. Just a quick question, the ratio of our revenue to our expenses, is that, if we were to baseline against other towns, is that pretty typical? How town rec
I'm
departments?
not sure. I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know.
Every town's very different.
I can find out though and get back to you on that.
I'm just curious.
As far as like the split, you mean?
Yeah, it seems like,
Like an 80-20 split? Or just revenue of expenses up?
You have $2 of revenue, you have $1 of
yeah,
expense.
it seems like for every dollar you spend, you get around $1.50 back.
I definitely will look into it, but off the top of my head, I'm familiar with a lot of the towns and their splits. And it's about 80-20 around there.
That seems
Yeah.
typical, that's typical, that's typical.
Okay,
Sorry if I'm not answering the question, but please reach out to me.
go ahead, Jen.
So where is the extra revenue going? Cause you're more than covered.
To the town.
Oh, it just goes into like the general.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A lot of good stuff.
Thanks very much.
Appreciate all the details and explanation, for tonight.
Thank you, and I appreciate all your questions. So if anybody has anything else, please reach out to me. I'm happy and I'll
Yeah.
meet with you. And I know there was somebody else who wanted to meet with me before I went. Anyway, call me, we'll talk.
All right, thanks, Chris. All right, Aaron. Animal control.
Got limited time because I'm a morning person, I'm a night person.
Oh, really?
I thought you were gonna say there's a dog on the run.
I know, I thought there was like a crisis in,
Extra turkeys on, Main.
oh,
Street.
yeah, you have
Thank
kitty litter over there,
thank you.
for the supplies. So, thank you for coming. Sorry for going a little late. I was explaining to everyone before, we have a few new members here, so we're just kind of taking it a little bit slower than usual, just so explanations can occur and people are on board. But with that said, go ahead, because I know you're not a
Okay.
night person.
So, some of you have heard, obviously, the budget is pretty much the same as it has been in past, years. There's no major increases. The only changes are modest increases in fuel and vehicle maintenance, because we will have 2 vehicles. All the other line items, they're the same, consistent with prior years, and then, it's a straightforward operating budget. and-
Okay, so hang tight. Let's
Yeah.
just, if you could just put that budget up, so we just give everyone a chance to get to the budget page. I assume you're jumping right to that?
Yes.
Yeah. You know it had to be the last page.
Yeah. So tiny.
It's on the TV too, if you need it bigger.
Not much.
Not much.
Glasses aren't that good.
All right.
So I believe that, I am getting longevity this year because it will be 5 years.
Okay,
So that's been added in.
Perfect.
Other than that, the equipment is 2,700, that's for all our rabies poles, equipment that we would need to operate to do our job. Gas and oil, obviously that's increased because of the 2 vehicles and obviously, inflation. Meetings and dues and our subscriptions, those go to our, ACOM Association, which is the Animal Control Officers Association of Massachusetts. Propane gas, which we still have in our kennel, however, we do have the, I'm sorry, the electric
heat lights.
heat, no, when they changed over, they went, hello.
Yeah,
Eco-friendly, whatever, but we have that there, so the propane is a backup.
Okay.
So sometimes it can fluctuate, which is strange, I haven't had any propane filled, but we haven't really used it too much in the past, but it's still there just in case, cause that kicks on, the propane will kick on if the other one, doesn't. Supplies and expenses, those are all our same thing, our office supplies, our, kennel supplies. Wow, we do have 1,000 in training. That's mandatory that ACOs have 8 continuing education credits every year. Again, the vehicle supply repair, which is 2,000, and then our water and sewer, that's for our kennel.
Mr. Chair,
go ahead, Pete.
at least on my sheet, the math is not math.
Yeah, the math is. not
Correct.
right. Yeah.
So on your fiscal year 27 column, where it says 117,600,
Yep,
if you were to add those numbers up, it should be $123,166.96.
that's what I have on my hand.
Okay, so it didn't translate onto this.
Yes, no, I'm on the other, server, I'm in the Medway one too, so I don't know if like a lot of the stuff.
Okay, no worries at all.
Yeah, it just
And
didn't calculate.
man, if you could grab that, an updated one, that would be great. And then the expenses is $15,050
Yeah.
for a grand total of about 138,
Right.
216.96.
Yeah.
Right. And our residents are very generous, and you can see with Joyce that, a lot of stuff for our animals alone. Gets either donated through our stray animal fund, people make donations for that, so if animals are hit by car that are unknown. That pays for that, and also if we have special cases, people will donate, like we just had some special dogs in there that need some PFAS and such, so the community was really good. They're really good about donating, helping the animals in that community.
Is there
Go ahead,
some place in town, thank you, I'm sorry, through the chair. Is there some place in town that if people wanted to make donations, they can drop things off? So that is, but
So, generally, no, because we get a lot of unwanted things that we don't need. And we don't have the space to store it. So we have a QR code that people can either donate to our stray animal fund directly, or we have, like, we'll put up a Facebook post and post like an Amazon wish list of things that we need.
okay, okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Mike.
I noticed that the place that you used to call home was torn down recently. Where are you located now?
The VFW, the old VFW on Holliston Street.
Okay, and did you get your new truck yet?
No,
No,
Still
What's
not
the
yet.
status of that?
so I dropped off the radio last week, I think, or whenever we did the budget, whenever I saw you.
On the second, yeah.
And they just had reached out for the graphics and for the radio transfer, so hopefully soon.
Okay,
They had messed up on the cal originally, they ordered the wrong one apparently, which they didn't tell me about until I inquired, like, hey, what's going on? And that's what they told us.
So you where the recreation department is as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've moved 4 times since.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a question. Go ahead, Pete. Sorry, go ahead.
I know that the vehicle is split, if Medway is the fuel split Medway?
Well,
Is their budget going up as well, you know, their share of your fuel budget?
yeah, so I can, explain to them, Mike can jump in if not, but they split the budget, 60-40. So I think when Lisa sends the billing every quarter, you know, it's whatever is spent, they're charged, you know, the 60-40 up there.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Thank you.
For people who might not know, where do all your funds come from? Are they from the general fund? Are they from, where do your funds?
These, I think they come from the general fund.
They do.
Yeah,
Okay, just so that everybody in the page,
yeah, and the
Everybody
stray
knows.
animal fund is in the revolving.
okay.
A different fund.
Yeah, different fund.
So this is pretty level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Sorry to run a little late. Appreciate the updates.
Do you need that carried down for you?
No, I can't, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Take care.
I know somebody who could.
Brett's gonna bring it up and he's gonna bring it down. Just should have stayed down. John, come on down. Again, I apologize for running a little late, but as you've heard.
I'm a teacher, I gotta be teaching, high school students in 12 hours.
Oh, all right. I thought you were saying like a night class in 20 minutes or something. So, as I've said, we're just taking things a little slower, just to explain things to new members. We have 4 new members here. So it's a learning curve a little bit, but please, floor is yours. Give us a little education and background and walk us through your budget.
Okay, I serve 417 Millis veterans and their family. And what that primarily is state and federal, benefits that they may be entitled to. The good thing is, well, I guess it's not a good thing is, but, Millis has 109 disabled veterans, which means they get compensation.
Okay.
And the reason why I bring that up first is I've been doing this since early 2020. And that was one of the, I guess, full court presses that I did where I wanted to increase the capability of the office. And one of that, I had to do training to learn how to do VA claims.
Okay.
Most larger towns have a staff, they have somebody who does the state benefits, somebody who does the federal benefits, somebody who can do the DD 214s, which is the document that is kind of the base for any benefits. And being a teacher during the summer, I was able to get qualified for VA and get the program here in this building. So we're actually a spot to do VA claims rather than going up to West Roxbury, which was the closest spot for Millis veterans.
Okay.
So now they could come here. and I did the DD 214 training and got the programs to give the DD 214. So I work a lot with downstairs Council of Aging because I guess the housing here in Millis, if you're connected to a veteran somehow, so I'm always printing out those DD 214s. And then just there's some with the VA, I mean, you have burial benefits, the compensation, but just going back to the disabled veterans, it's the average Millis compensation for the veterans from the federal government is $2,100, which is actually in the state of Massachusetts, one of like, probably if I looking at the zip code, where, you know, and I kind of did a query, but we're nearly at the top. So I guess that means we have some, unfortunately, we have disabled veterans, but the good part about it is they're being compensated to the tune of the town residents are getting $340,000 a month, you know, which equates to over $3 million of federal funds that come into our community. The average age is 63, so they're spending locally.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess it's not a feel-good story because they're injured. But it's a, you know, it's a good, I guess, story for Millis veterans are getting taken care of, I think.
I have two questions. So of the 417 veterans, 109 of them are disabled?
Considered disabled by the VA.
And then are the VA benefits that we're receiving from the federal government protected, or are those being restricted at all with current
No,
administration?
that unfettered.
Okay,
I'm also a disabled veteran, so comes in.
okay. You're living what you're helping others do.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually kind of the crux of why I came into this, because when I returned to Massachusetts, you know, I live in Medway, went there, they're like, I think ours is in Holliston. And, you know, I was going and searching, I came to Millis because I was like, don't they have VSO and all this other stuff. So that was kind of the nexus of me like, all right, well, let me try to make some change. And so
Yeah, 100%.
that's why
And you've done a nice job.
appreciate that. The other, I guess, going to like state benefits, one of my big line items says veteran benefits. That's actually the chapter 115. That ebbs and flows, like anybody can come through my office. And the intent of the chapter 115 is to bring any resident 2 times above the poverty line. Millis is a, you know, pretty, I guess, more well-off town.
Yep.
When I first came here, we had about 18 of them. And it was about like 60, it was, but what I noticed is once I started talking to them and got trained, I'm like, they can go on federal benefits rather than, you know, because Millis would front that. And then the state of Massachusetts would give 75%, still 25%. So what I do a lot of times with chapter 115, because we still have them here in Millis, they come on that and they're immediately taken care of to the, you know, above the poverty line.
Okay.
Then, you know, as I talk to them, I'm like, they can get other benefits. They have prior injuries, or maybe it's a spouse, and they can receive, you know, if their husband died due to their injuries in combat. And a lot of that came out of the PACT Act, which was during the Biden administration, where a lot of the injuries could come from, you know, Agent Orange, but also for the Afghanistan and Iraq, the air that we breathe. So that kind of exploded, doing a lot of VA claims here in Millis. That's why those amounts of you know, 340,000 a month going to Millis residents to.
Gotcha.
Right here.
Gotcha, okay. So looking at the budget itself, it looks pretty straightforward. Supplies and expenses are going down, or?
Yeah, that was more to kind of maintain the office.
Okay.
It was kind of like I got a computer, overhead projectors and stuff like that, so I could do presentations at, you know, AMVets and some of the local, and then I could use that computer now at, you know, we have the laptops anyways, but, you know, where I can go to them.
Yeah,
Speaking of technology, I gotta give a shout out to Jim with the Zoom. I can, you know, call them back, you know, a lot quicker and all that stuff. So I appreciate that. That capability has improved me getting back.
we all love Jim.
Yeah.
It's just to throw it out there. Okay. Anything else on?
Ju- ju- You know, every once in a while it comes up, burials where just usually it's a widow, just can't afford to, the VA will pay for some of it, but there's always a delta. And that usually where that comes in, as a matter of fact, I think it was last year where, the body was held up. And the only way to release the body for cremation, and it was a veteran, and then as I started talking to the spouse, you know, she could go on chapter 115 because she really didn't have any money, you know, so
Yeah.
then she went on chapter 115 to take care of her, but she has since moved from North.
Mike, you do have a question?
Yeah, do we have veterans that are taking advantage of any real estate tax abatements, benefits that we have?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the things that we did last year here in Millis, and they did in a few of the surrounding towns, was to double it. The disabled veterans tax abatements. So, yes, to answer your question, I wouldn't say considerable, but if I had to guess, at least 50 or 60. And not only the veterans, but it's helping some Gold Star spouses, because a few of the deaths were attributed to Agent Orange in Vietnam, but they passed away recently. So they were now considered Gold Star spouses, so they got full real estate abatement here in Millis.
Okay, thank you.
Fantastic, okay. I think we're good, yeah.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you coming in tonight. Yeah, absolutely. Keep those students in line tomorrow.
They had a Lauren.
Thank you, thanks for all your hard work too.
Yeah.
I like this job a lot more than those high school kids.
John and Vivian.
Library, come on down.
I do, I can feel your budget item.
How we doing, Kim? Good. So you might have heard, we're just trying a few minutes behind, but
Yeah.
we're gaining ground. So we're just kind of going through things a little slower, a little bit more education, a little bit more description, just as we have 4 new members, and this is kind of the first budget season, so. But all good, so why don't you take it from there and lead us through?
Sure, well, since we have some new faces this year, I'll just quickly kind of go through, sort of like a little background on the library. So as some of you know, the library provides a variety of services, for the community, and, what makes the library kind of unique is that we serve, all ages, socio and economic groups, abilities, and, you know, it's kind of open to everybody. And some of the main services we provide is access to physical and online collections. We are part of the Minuteman Library Network, so if you know, with your Millis Library card, you can access collections of 40 plus other libraries in the area. We're kind of the core service provider for free technology access in the community and technology training. Another one of our core services is our programming. So we offer educational, recreational, cultural programs for all ages. And many of those, the majority of those are funded not out of our operating budget, but through the support of our Friends group. But of course, our staff are planning and putting those programs on.
As I read through the material under adult programs, it says Memory Cafe.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah, so Memory Cafe, that is a monthly group that meets in the library. And our primary audience is adults with memory loss, memory changes, and their caregivers. And the purpose is just to be kind of a welcoming community environment where people can come and, you know, meet others who are going through similar things, and it's focused more on the social aspect and like enjoying time together rather than focusing on, you know, any sort of diagnosis, but yeah, that's something that we started with grant funding and we've kept it going since. We also have the library building, which has community meeting rooms and study rooms that are available to be used by the public, and a lot of community groups use the space. A lot of people that work remotely come use the space to work or to study or just to gather. And then the staff, obviously, we have a wonderful staff, and they, you know, kind of keep all of these things going and let people, you know, kind of help people in the community access all of the services. And we do all that with, you know, just under 1.2% of the total operating funds. So a very small amount that, you know, we do a lot with. So I'll just kind of go through a few. I have some slides here, but I don't think you have it there. I have a nice picture and stuff, but that's okay.
If you want to give the presentation to Amanda later, we can look
Sure.
at it later.
Yeah, I'll send that. So,
Sure.
yeah, just some highlights from calendar year 2025. We hosted 535 programs, with over 8,000 attending. We developed a new strategic plan, a 5-year plan for the library. You know, and we incorporated feedback from, you know, many members of the community, to kind of put together a guiding document for the next 5 years, to lay out what our objectives are going to be, what the goals are going to be, so that for the library based on what we are hearing that the community needs.
And that's just starting now, correct?
Yes, so
Okay.
that started FY 26, so
Yep.
we're into it. But it'll go through FY 30. And one of the things we've really been focused on is continuing to grow our teen engagement. And in 2025, we hosted 22 Friday night programs for middle schoolers, with 200 attending. And that's a small increase from last year. And so our teen services assistant was originally funded in 2022 with marijuana impact funds. And the first year we've seen like a 75% increase in programming and attendance. And so we're looking to continue to sort of grow engagement with that population, as well as we're looking at expanding what we're offering to older teens to high schoolers as well. So we're starting to do that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the budget. In terms of circulation, we're kind of remaining steady with our physical circulation, which is, you know, books, DVDs, books on CD, our library of things, which is like tools and technology, and other unusual items that people can borrow. Yes.
And is the e-library audiobooks or audiobooks plus other things you just mentioned?
Yeah, so what I just mentioned is just like the physical things that you can like come and check out. In terms of the e-library, that includes like downloadable and streaming materials. So we have downloadable ebooks and audiobooks, magazines, and then some streaming like TV and movies as well. And that we've seen like a huge uptick in usage. I think in the last year, 40% increase, and over the last 5 years, we've seen use of those e-library resources like more than double. So people are definitely all about the ebooks and audiobooks.
Do people still know how to read, or they just listen? It's a joke. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Our books are still
being checked. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Mike.
Just like the convenience of like, they find out about a book and they can get it without having.
You drive to work, you listen to a book. Right, yeah.
How do you deliver the e-resources? Do they physically have to come there and download them, or can they be done electronically?
Platforms that we use, one is it's Overdrive and the app is Libby, and the other one is Hoopla. So those are the two main platforms that we use. And with Hoopla, it's just, we pay for the platform and we have their whole collection. And with Overdrive, we're actually doing the collection development for that platform. So we're buying ebooks and e-audiobooks. for
And those could be accessed through the library
the
website.
website, yeah.
Library.
The audiobooks through Libby, why is there a wait list? If I'm a-
Yeah, it's a slightly different model with the two. With Hoopla, everything's available all the time. So they have less selection, but everything you can get right away.
And that's
with-
through your website, or
You
is it
can-
an
you
app?
can- It's an app, but you
Okay.
can also get through our website, but you can use it on a web browser.
Okay,
And then Libby is a little bit different. The books, even though they're, they're downloadable, they work like a physical book where one person can use it at a time. Or sometimes there's different models, so sometimes we'll buy like, it's called like a simultaneous use. If we're doing a program and we want multiple people to be able to check it out, so we'll get like, basically
'Cause I
50
know-
uses and we'll buy
yeah,
that.
cause I know like with Audible, I mean. Everybody can listen to a book, so that's why I was curious why.
It's just the way that the publishers, do handle the e-content.
Okay.
Like that's how they make it available. It's like one copy, one user.
Gotcha,
And
so that's why there's wait lists.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Go
Yeah,
ahead, Brett.
the 72,000 visitors over the course of the year,
Mhm.
how are you measuring visitor metric?
Yeah, so we have door counters, that, kind of just. tell us that.
Got it.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not necessarily a mixture of like rentals and loans and this, it's really who's walking
Anybody
through the
who comes in, we track it like library hours, so it wouldn't count people like staff that are coming in earlier. Or like, maintenance people that are coming in outside of library hours, it's anyone who comes in, during. So it could be people that are just returning something, people that are using the community rooms, or people that are, spending the whole day.
Thank you.
And you can put it into categories of age group or anything like that, cause
No,
it's just
we
walking
don't
through.
have that
Yeah, yeah.
ability. We do track program attendance by age, but in terms of visitors, we don't.
Okay.
And then, in 2025, we also received 3 grants to support library programs. So we got a cultural council grant for our Millis Reads program, which is like our annual community reads program that we do. We got a grant through the Girls Who Code organization. We have a Girls Who Code club that meets at the library that we run. And we just received at the end of 2025, a grant from the Mass Broadband Institute for 30 devices, a combination of laptops, desktops, and Chromebooks for public use. So they'll replace the equipment that we have that's older, and it'll also allow us to implement a home borrowing program. Right now, we have laptops and Chromebooks that can be used in library. We're planning with this grant to expand that to offer Chromebooks that can be checked out. We have a hotspot program, so this will kind of tie in well with that. Where we'll be offering the hotspot access that people can take, and then also the Chromebook device. We'll also use that to kind of expand our tech help programming, which has been very in demand. We've also worked with our friends group to identify some new funding opportunities. They last year introduced a new initiative for business sponsorship of programs. We also are working with an organization who installed a clothing donation shed in the parking lot of the library, and so they're receiving some kind of passive income for that as well. So those are kind of just some highlights from last year. And so I'll kind of go into our current budget request. So I will say that our request reflects level service. And some of the increases that you'll see is just their adjustments that reflect increased costs. So I'll just kind of go through a couple of them.
Sure.
So in the personnel section, the on-call wages line has been increased to be reflective of the actual hourly rates for FY 27. So the hourly rate has gone up with the different iterations of the personnel plan. This position is a part of the personnel plan. So in FY 23, it was $15.85 an hour. And now in FY 27, it's $23.67 an hour. So it's gone up quite a bit just in the last few years. And in FY 25, we did move some funds from our extra time line item to the on-call line item to reflect some changes in how we staff our Saturdays. But other than that, that budget line has not been increased in 10 years, even though the pay rate has increased. So we're just adjusting that so that it meets what we need in terms of the actual hours that we need on-call staff.
Okay.
And then as I mentioned earlier, the teen services assistant, which is a 16-hour position, was initially funded by the marijuana impact funding in January 2022. And so that has been funded through that fund since that point. And with that position, we were able to expand our evening hours to be open Thursday and Friday evenings. Prior to this position, we were open until 8 p.m. Monday through Wednesday and then close at 4 on Thursday and Friday. So this has allowed us to have consistent 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. the week. And also has allowed us to greatly expand our services to youth, particularly to like middle school age tweens. It's who we've been focusing on because that was kind of a unmet need that we saw in the community. We have a lot of kids come to the library after school and on half days, and we've seen that grow since we've kind of been working on engaging them in programming. So we're looking to have that funded in our regular operating budget for this fiscal year. And I'll just, statistics are good. In the last 4 years, we've held 74 programs for middle school aged youth during those extended hours and had over 800 attend. And each year we see that engagement grow. And in addition, just having those extended hours, we do see pretty steady usage. As I mentioned, we have the door counters and we can actually break it down, by hour to see how many people are coming into the building. So on those Thursday and Friday evenings in 2025, we saw almost 7,000 people, which is on average 70 visitors a day between those hours of 4 and 8 p.m. on Thursday, and then 69 on Friday, so a little bit less on Friday.
That's great.
So people do take advantage of those evening hours. And, in order to continue providing those evening hours and to continue to hopefully, continue the success we've had with those middle school aged kids, and like I mentioned earlier, trying to expand a little bit more to offer more programming for high school age teens as well. That funding is very important to be able to do that. And
So a couple,
yes,
unless you want to
go
go.
ahead.
Yeah, no, just to follow the process here. So a couple capital requests, keyless entry system.
Yes. I just have one more thing. to
Yeah,
mention
please do. I
on
mean
the-
to jump ahead.
on
Yeah.
before we move on to the capital requests. We also had Saturday hours that were funded out of the marijuana impact funds, and as I mentioned a little while ago, we were able to reconfigure our staffing on Saturdays to cover that out of the regular budget. So we're planning to continue to offer the summer Saturdays, without having to put more money in the personnel budget for that.
So you've shifted things around to compensate for the
Yeah.
HCA funds.
Yes,
going down.
yes, just like not shifting money around, but our staffing model, so.
Mhm.
We have some of our on-call helping out on weekends rather than our regular staff, exclusively. So they're solar and it just makes it a little more.
Great.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
I just have two quick questions, and these might be new member questions.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the budget. I noticed you have maintenance contracts that have gone down to zero. I
Yes.
know building maintenance is sort of a hot topic in the town.
Yeah.
Where's stuff like that represented in the budget?
So I either last, oh,
Yes.
do you wanna?
A couple of years ago, we moved a lot of the building maintenance.
Mike, can you just, will the mic pick him up? Will Mike pick up Mike?
It'd probably be better up.
Yeah, if you could just come up.
there.
I know.
I get the whole night through.
I know, come on.
Sorry.
It wouldn't be complete without you being up here.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Thank you.
So, about a year and a half ago, I believe, we, made the determination to centralize a lot of our town building maintenance into a central, town building maintenance account, when we switched our model and pretty much had, all our, custodial and so forth moved at the school, but we have a, town building maintenance line item, which is under one of my budgets, so I'll be discussing that later in the budget process. And that's where all those funds are. So, that was part of the, discussion, a couple of years ago. It also has the side benefit of the library under state law has to, 19% of its budget has to be materials. And speaking with the library director, they feel the materials line item is adequate for their needs. I'm guessing that's still the case. So that actually saves a little money on the back end by centralizing it into a town-wide town buildings account and not building it into the library budget where, if it was in the library budget, for every dollar you spend on building maintenance, you'd have to spend 19 cents on additional materials. So it was a benefit all the way around because we consolidated. And that way, 1 year, if the library had a major issue, and say back then they only had 8,000 or 7,000 line item and they have $20,000 issue, we have a larger centralized budget to deal with it. There might be other years where they don't need hardly anything.
Yeah.
And that goes for a lot of buildings in town, so it is all centralized.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's a long-winded answer for probably,
Yeah, go ahead, Brett.
So it's only $3,000, but how does that account, like who and how is the decision made about where an expense needs to lie if there's an allocation?
you have a.
Yeah, so we have 3,000 in building repairs and that's more for like smaller everyday things that
Okay.
might not be like a big expense, but just have something to be able to address things right away.
They needed a very small $200 item or something like that. If they had a major issue where there was a damage to an HVAC, duct or something that needed.
So there's an added approvals process to go through this central main, and we can get to that one.
Yeah, so basically, any department head who's overseeing a particular building, if there's an issue with that building, they'll contact my office or John Engler, who's our facilities administrator, explain the problem, and then usually if it's a large item, it will come through my office and we'll approve that. And thankfully, there really hasn't been anything at the library since
And there's actually, over the years, the library has a maintenance plan that was put together, capital improvement plan.
Yes.
And we'll make sure that goes into the folder.
so.
Exactly.
That's a great question, because a lot of that flows through to the other departments you'll meet, where some of them might have some building maintenance line items that have adjusted, some might
Yeah.
not, and there are individual cases, reasons why it might be something different in each department, but that was the goal several years ago to try to consolidate that, and that way it's not piecemeal across,
Yeah, that makes sense.
departments.
Go ahead, Mike.
We've got about 100,000 or more than $100,000 a year in resources that we purchase, library materials. I take it that at some point we turn over those materials and there may be sales of that. We have rentals. of the room, some other things like that. Do we know what revenue is this year or last year?
So in terms of, if you mean like if we're withdrawing materials from our collection,
Yeah, if you're withdrawing them and selling them, are you renting the community room?
we, so for most cases, the community room is free to use unless it's a revenue generating purpose. And then there's a small fee and that goes into, there's a fund that it goes into. It's not that much, but we would use that to like, purchase materials or cover.
I mean, resale of resources? I mean, we obviously would accumulate about $100,000 worth of books a year. What do we do? We can't fit them all in there. What do we do with the ones we get rid of?
Yeah, so some of this isn't all physical materials. Some of the stuff that's included in library materials is all of the e-resources that we subscribe to. So we have like a language learning module that we subscribe to. And I mentioned the digital downloadable materials. So some of that, we're just paying a fee per year for that. In terms of if we are taking materials out of the collection, a lot of them go, well, most of them, if they're still usable, they go to the Friends of the Library. And the Friends of the Library will resell them at the book sale, and then all that money goes back to the library for programming. And other Friends supported initiatives.
So, but that's a separate 501c organization? Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Eric. Of the 113,000-ish, what percentage of that goes to digital resources versus physical books?
Find out. I don't have that number on the top of my head, but let me take it. I will say, even the stuff that does go towards books, like that includes children's books and paperbacks and, they can only take so many inserts before they start falling apart. So some of the items do, they kind of live out their useful life in the process of discarding them. So for this year, our e-library was just under 30,000 was the e-library. So that would be all our digital resource subscriptions and our the e-content we purchase.
Gotcha.
It also includes periodicals, so magazines, newspapers.
The 30K includes?
No, I mean the total materials budget, so
Oh, okay,
about 5,000 goes towards periodicals.
okay, thanks.
You want to talk about your capital requests?
Sure. So I have one capital request here. And as I think as you alluded to earlier, we had a facilities condition assessment done a few years back, and so we've been kind of using that to help guide us in the needed maintenance for the building. But this one came up so back in 2022 at fall town meeting, there was a capital item that was approved for both the town hall and the library to get keyless entry system installed.
Yeah.
And it was approved at that time, but the town hall project ended up being more than expected, so there wasn't enough funding to do the library too. So now we're kind of circling back around to add that. I think the library is the last building that doesn't have it. We're still using, the keys, which
Yep.
security purposes,
Yep.
like keys can be lost, or they can be hard to get back if we have somebody that leaves. Whereas the keyless entry system would have to be activated, deactivated. It would tie into our alarm system, so we could know exactly who's entering the building at any time. So it really helped with security, and have us.
So Mike, maybe you can add some color around the town hall and other buildings that are complete?
Yes, all the other major buildings in town, have these keyless entry systems. Of course, you know, all the new buildings, Clyde Brown, police, fire, the new DPW office building, this building, they all have, several entrances that have the keyless entry. And as Kim had said back, when we got the original quote, it ended up when we finally were able to go through and get the systems loaded, the prices of the items had gone up.
Okay.
So there wasn't enough left to do the library, and I think this is an important part of the security systems for the town. I believe, and Jim can correct me if I'm wrong, Jim is applying for a grant, which may cover this. So there's a chance that we may not need to spend these funds, but we think this is important enough that whether we're able to secure the grant or not, this project should go forward.
The 50,000 is the current number versus when it was
This is
approved
the current number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
back in 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, because we had more entrances here.
Yeah.
And the technology has come a bit
Oh, I'm
forward in
sure.
the past 3 or 4 years, so
Yeah.
it's not, in some ways, it's not as costly as it was back then. It's
Yeah.
matured technology.
Go ahead, Pete.
How many entrances to the library?
So there would be 2 entrances that this would be installed at. We have some other entrances, but.
I just see, I mean, do you think that represents a huge cost for 2 entrances and maybe 10 employees requiring, you know, keep us some, by the time you cost that out, that's a significant, and it's a significant increase in cost over keys, which, I mean, to be sure, for some security upgrades that it affords. But that's a lot of money.
Well, I think,
For a 2-door facility.
I do appreciate the cost aspect. I think from my viewpoint, looking at a multi-million-dollar building that has a lot of public access. It's a safety and security issue, that the $15,000 would be supplying. And I do think we have a better than 50-50 chance of getting the grant. But I would still maintain that even though the costs here were about 25,000 for this building, that the costs are worth it for the safety and security. I mean, that's my opinion.
Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, I understand Pete's point. I've installed these in businesses that I've owned. It does seem very high for 2 units. Obviously, we agree that this what we should have. I mean, in this day and age, you don't want to have physical keys opening buildings, like you said, lost keys and employees leaving with the keys and things like that.
So we do go through a bid process.
Yeah.
So there will be at a minimum, either we'll go through a state bid that's already been the procurement process has already occurred, or we'll conduct our own bidding process to move forward with this. I think the state has a bid in for this, right?
At least, and just to add a little bit as well,
Should take my second.
I see now, Mike.
to add a little bit to that as well, one of the things that I'm looking at with the grant specifically is not only with the key fob system, but it's also upgrading the camera system as well, which would also integrate them. So some key fob, there's a picture taken of that person. So there's a lot of activity combined with shutting off alarm, entering the building, cameras being used and knowing what spots to look for things. The cost, like you're saying, 15,000 for 2 doors. One of the problems is as soon as you do the controller box, that's a cost, whether it's 2 doors or 4 doors. So for example, my quote was actually for 4 fobs for the building, which was around 25,000. More expensive company gives us a better, let's say, I'm not 100% sure about the quote that Kim received, but it gives us more online capability in terms of changing things. So instead of having to go, connect into the building to make any changes, they can be done remotely, things like that. So there is extra things and extra costs associated with it. Again, being able to do the alarm codes with using a key fob instead of a number pad as well. As everyone knows, number codes for things, especially 4 or 6 digit codes, are getting out there. It's an emergency, somebody calls up, it's somebody you know, they need to get the building or shut off the alarm. Generally, you're gonna give them your code, now your code's out there. So this puts the code into the key fob as well, locked to that person. Allows for remote unlocking and locking of all the doors, so somebody doesn't have to go around in the morning and make sure they're locking or unlocking the doors at the exact times. It's done automatically. Holidays can be built in. Snow days, a simple change on the system allows all those doors to stay locked. So I do understand, especially the 15 for the 2 doors, but it does, again, you add in a couple doors, more than that, it does lower the cost as a per door cost. But it's getting the system in there is costly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Having further explanation is helpful. Go ahead, Jen.
What's the range of that box? Like, how far?
So it's basically wherever it can be wired to, so it's in the building, it can't go from building to building. So it's not like a network in terms of, the internet. Would need a different box for each building. So that's one of the negatives to that. I mean, that being said, each box, depending on what you're buying, can only control, say, 4 or 8 devices. Or you need multiple boxes, like we have two boxes here in this building for it, so.
So do they sell wireless ones that could go building to building?
Not really, not at this point, not with this, security is, the security is the name of the game. Especially when it comes to this, you're actually, that's part of the grant I'm applying for, is securing the town buildings. So by securing them, you really don't want them to be wireless in that sense.
And so are there different companies representing different Millis town buildings?
Yes.
And is that good or bad
That's
or indifferent? That's
In
bad.
my case, in my theory, that's bad. That's one thing
You can't get a better deal with it all together, right?
Not necessarily a better deal, to be honest.
Okay.
The biggest difference would
Just
just
working with
be
different vendors?
the functionality, of being able to have, like my goal would be at the very least for, the library and the town hall to be on the same one. So when I go and I put in the holidays for the year.
Yeah.
I'm only putting in holidays once.
Yeah.
If you have a janitor who's in this building and also in there, I just put that one person in once and I give them access to both buildings.
Yeah.
By a couple check boxes instead of going and having to enter them in multiple buildings. So that'd be the benefit of trying to pull everything under the same vendor. And again, I want the vendor to be an online portal for me as well.
Sure.
To be able to do those things remotely.
So there's potentially 3 vendors right now?
We have, I believe there's 3 vendors right now.
And with the library, a possible 4th or a possible remaining 3?
The coach, Kim has gotten, would have been a 4th. But again, that was just a quote.
Yeah. Understood.
We could go with the same vendor we have in the town hall and that gives us a 2.
Yeah.
But it depends on what the other systems are.
Understood.
I don't fully deal with the system at, police station, or at fire. Currently, I'm gonna be taking over fire. I'm probably not gonna be taking over police station. That's something that's best left to them.
Gotcha.
But again, security reasons.
Understood.
Too many hands in a pot.
Understood. Questions for Kim/Jim? Not to turn this into the Jim show, but.
Sure, I'd like that.
Go ahead, Pete.
And that is, there's a number of departmental goals in your submission, and I know I participated in the strategic plan. I'm sure a lot of those came from that, which was worthwhile. When do you anticipate you'll be making funding requests to that end to achieve these initiatives?
So these are the goals that we have for FY 27. So. Wait a minute. So.
Is this in our packet or is this something else?
This is in the.
I see it. Yeah,
one,
yeah,
I think it is.
yeah.
So most of these would be funded would either be just something that would take staff time, or they'd be funded as programs through our friends group. There's a couple things that we're looking to fund out of field aid as well.
I mean, there's a renovation or or updating, not a renovation, but you know, some change to the physical
Mhm.
space. And nothing says that it has to come in this budget cycle, you know.
Right,
typically
yeah, we
do
wouldn't,
Free cash in the fall.
right, we wouldn't be looking to do that in this budget cycle. It would be either grant or our friends group or state aid funding. Are the avenues that we would. For that, depending on.
Right, Heidi?
So this is a newbie question.
Sure.
The Friends of the Library, I understand they're a 501c3.
Yes.
Are they a Millis Friends of the Library
Yeah.
or like a statewide or a regional?
No,
group?
they're specific for the Millis Public Library.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is on that group? Like how?
So it's volunteers who live in Millis, and anyone can join. But there is a board that is voted on at their annual meeting. It's a group of residents that care about the library, and anyone is welcome to join. They have monthly meetings on the fourth Wednesday of the month.
How do they do their fundraising?
So they have 2 book sales a year that bring in some of their funds. They also do other fundraising events. They have a virtual live author event that we just had at the end of January.
Yeah,
On
how did that go?
location. Oh, it was great. It's
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
good.
they had 9 authors who came and spoke, and we got to break out smaller groups and ask, people got to talk in small groups with the authors and ask questions, and everyone gets like a swag box with a book from the author of their choice, and it's a very good event. I haven't heard yet what the funds raised were, but I know they look for some sponsorships for that event as well. And as I mentioned last year, they started exploring business sponsorships for some of our programs, so they had a few businesses sponsor various programs. So they'll do that again towards the end of the year. They'll put out another call. Those are the main things.
How well do the book sales do?
They do pretty well. I think they usually make between like 3,000 and 5,000 for each book sale.
That's great. That's all good. That's, you fill the brown paper bag with as many books as you want. Is that how that works?
That's the last day.
That's the last
of
day.
Book sale. So
Okay,
they have like books priced per book, and then the last day it's kind of like
Gotcha.
fill a bag for.
Yeah.
very nice.
Go ahead, Mike.
Has there ever been any consideration toward charging a nominal fee per book? Or is that state mandated, is excluded from that possibility?
So one of the requirements from the state is that we make no charge for for normal library service. So yeah, we would not be able to do that. And even with, I think the question has come up before about charging admission fees to some of our programs, which we would for like a fundraiser or kind of like a special event. But we do consider programming one of our core services.
I was pushing for that on a strategic plan. Generate some revenue on. I got shot down pretty quick.
Worth asking.
What about some of the kids' programs that you offer? Are there fees to do those, or is that also free? Like sewing programs or arts and craft programs
So
or
the
your Lego
majority of our
program?
programs are free for the public. As I said, we consider programs one of our core services, and one of the tenants and one of the requirements from the state is that we don't charge for
Okay.
services regularly.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
one more.
Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead.
Go ahead, Heidi.
So I was curious in reading through your materials, I saw that you offer dance classes.
Mhm.
And I don't think of a library as dance classes. How
Yeah.
did that come about?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you've been to the library, I think.
I went to
Right?
Galentine's.
Okay, yes, I was like, familiar, I know I met you. So we have that large community room and we use it for all sorts of things. So it may not be kind of what you expect to happen in a library, but yes, we have had salsa dancing, we've had yoga classes, we have a toddler dance class. That meets a couple times a year. And part of it is, you know, partnering with other groups in the community. So we have a partnership with Millis Dance Studio. And the salsa dancing was a resident who teaches, who was interested in offering. So we try and work with, you know, community partners and residents who have skills that they want to share. So that's some of it. And then, you know, we do, like, if we have patrons, if we have residents who are requesting certain types of programs, we do take that into account as well. We have a board game club that meets once a month, and that was a suggestion from a patron. So we try and give the people what they want.
I'll just say that the dance classes before Kim, I think, was there, started because Millis Reads was based on wellness, and we have a theme for the year. And we got a grant for dance classes, and that's how it was, like, movement,
Oh, it started.
and that's how it all started, and then we got volunteers.
Okay, last question, maybe?
In two parts.
Last two-part question.
Two parts are unrelated. Actually, the first question was just building off of that. It seems like there's some overlap in your programming between what the rec department offers as well, like gaming or dance classes. Do you coordinate at all, or?
Not too much. The difference is, like, we don't charge for our program, so somebody who maybe is interested in doing a dance class but doesn't have the ability to pay for something like that is able to do it through the library.
Okay. Okay, and then unrelated part B. I was just looking at your staffing history. This might be a new question as well, but
Okay.
I noticed the numbers don't add up to 3.8
Uh,
total FTEs on the bottom. So,
Can find that page.
Or FY 26?
For the end of the years, it's the same thing. It's 2.8.
yeah,
Oh, right.
Yeah, that may have just been on the form, that may have been like a calculation error, but
okay.
it is, the past few years, staffing history has been the same. We haven't added any staffing since we added the teen service coordinator position. So
Roughly 6.
I think it's,
We gotta get a revised one.
I know.
I think we're good. Kim, I appreciate all your time,
Thank you.
explanation. The library is an amazing center for not just reading, but digital classes and everything else we talked about tonight. So thank you and your staff for all your efforts.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Okay.
Haven't we seen you before?
All right. We got,
You don't need to see me, that's okay.
all right, Jim, we'll make it your show with the, IT budget, and then we'll go into the FinCom show after that.
Sounds good.
You wanna get money?
So just on the budget
No, no.
narrative, it's basically,
Let me, sorry, do you wanna stay, Mike Kaczynski, or do you wanna head out?
Are you starting your tutorial?
no, I'll do that.
No, but if, we're good, if you wanna head out, feel free.
All right, thanks. I'll stay for his budget.
Okay.
Make you feel left out.
Fair enough. We'll bring you back up then.
He doesn't think I can handle it.
I know.
So especially for the new members, so, I'm the IT for the town side. So what that means is town hall, police, fire, DPW, and obviously COAs in this program. So I handle basically any IT need that they all have. Especially because we have some new members here, so my position was a new position about 5 years ago. Previous to that, we didn't have a dedicated IT director. It was whoever was, well, shortly before that, it was a volunteer. And then before that, it was basically whoever was head of finance department was also the IT director. So I came in part-time, approximately 5 years ago. I went full-time about 2.5 years ago now, a little less than that.
And just to clarify, does IT have a department or does it fall under a different department?
So I'm IT, I report directly to Mike.
So,
Its own department.
okay, so yet on the website, I didn't see an IT department.
There is not.
Why not?
I just never created one, to be honest, before. We're going to do this.
I know, you look
I-
for it.
I like to stay
Oh.
hidden.
Yeah, yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
All right. I just wanna make sure.
It's like Google.
Is there anything else we should talk about?
That being said, we are going to a new website.
Okay.
This year.
Okay,
And that
Thank
was
God.
one of the things I'd already started creating was an IT, page, for that.
Okay.
Because there hasn't been one previously.
That's a great idea, Mr. Chair.
we're on the same page. Keep going,
Got it.
right?
So I just want to make sure you guys allow you to understand of the history of this department where it's been non-existent previously and then small and then now I am
Mhm.
full time. So just some of the accomplishments over the last year. One of the things we transitioned most of the town buildings to Zoom phone. I worked with the school department on this. Basically, whatever I chose, they went with. I mean, obviously with their input. So the school department moved over to Zoom phones, town hall moved over to Zoom phones, fire and DPW. The only ones that's not on Zoom phones right now would be the police department, because I've had some recording issues over there. And then once I'm done with the police department, I'm gonna move the library over to Zoom phones as well. A lot of ease of use, one of the things like even John Moore had mentioned is the flexibility on being able to make calls as if you're in the town hall. From home, from wherever he is, that way he can return calls and not wait till he comes in the building, so he's not giving out his personal cell phone number to people. He can call him as if he was sitting in his office. So that's one of the benefits to that, plus we saved a decent amount of money by doing the transition. Copier contracts was also something we worked on last summer. Again, I worked with the school department on this. Basically, they took lead on this one with my input and chose the company we were gonna go with. We do have separate contracts, but at least it was, one negotiation going through with them. I did, town hall and, fire department, library didn't really have any need for being on a contract with us. And then just recently I added in, the police department's copier into our contract as well, so I'll be handling them from going forward as well. The other thing I completed last summer, which was completed at the end of June, was successfully completing a grant from the state for connecting all the town buildings with fiber. So now they are all physically connected. The schools were already connected to the town hall. We don't really have much collaboration using that, but then I connected DPW, including one of the pump stations as well, which will help with security for the water system. Police and also fire and library will be connected as well. So all these buildings are now physically connected. So over the next year, I am now working on actually connecting them and network connecting them. So they're physically connected now. It's doing the network infrastructure to get those connected and set up. We'll be saving a little bit of money at the end of the day doing that without having to have multiple services at each building. So currently, like police has 2 services, one for primary, one for backup, fire, same thing with town hall. So those will be reduced because we'll be all going out of one building. EFAX, just transitioning away from standard landlines, which cost a lot of money, over to an EFAX. So the company is eGoldFax. That's what seems to be, like calling a tissue, a Kleenex. So moving over to EFAX, town hall's pretty much done. I'll be moving in with, moving over at the fire as well, soon. Online permitting. Online permitting was successfully deployed at the building department last year. Still tweaks and changes being made, but that's always gonna be an ongoing process. But Bob down there has done a great job working with me and working with Permitize, the company we chose to get them up and running. Town administrator's office just went there for their licensing, getting some hiccups and stuff like that, but they're working towards it. The chief at the fire department worked great on getting some of his permits. into the new permitting system, and we'll continue to expand to Leestown as well. The next one I'll be working with will be the Board of Health to get them fully operational in the permitting system. I kind of mentioned some of the goals, just going along with some of those other things of completing the fiber in terms of connecting the buildings, in terms of the network itself beyond the physical, the EFACs, the phone system I mentioned as well, Board of Health. Well, I might have mentioned that twice. Police cloud system, so I'll be mentioning that as well, in my, above level service, so I'll talk about that then, but basically moving away from physical servers. Then let's just go to the actual budget, so.
Yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Just, a question maybe for Mr. Kaczynski, since he stayed.
I might have one too. Go ahead.
Initiatives like on permitting, via town standards. In a sense that there's all kinds of forms and applications, not necessarily permits, but if you're doing a tax abatement or any department, rather than having to come to town hall, shouldn't that be the standard across the board?
I'm sure Jim could very actually answer this, but I will say just a couple quick words about that before I turn back to him. You know, we are going with a company, Permitize, that has a lot of experience with scores of other communities in Massachusetts, and they have experience doing across the spectrum permits and trying to standardize them to the extent possible, where each department does have really different types of functions, permits, licenses, so forth. But I think the ultimate goal is to get as far advanced with the online permitting as possible and to standardize it as much as possible. Jim's much better equipped to say where we are in that process than I am. But I think that's right. That is the goal as much as possible across the board. So I don't think they'll ever be like, okay, we're all done. I think there'll be a constant evolution of improving, expanding, and trying to streamline and to the extent possible, you know, standardize that process so that the users of that, the business owners, taxpayers and so forth, don't have to learn different approaches or systems every time they go to a different department.
Thank you.
So you know, just in your question alone, there was basically two separate things in there a little bit in terms of permitting and then, for example, an abatement form. Yeah, no, and it makes perfect sense, but those are two separate things in terms of, an online permitting system would not do things like abatement forms. For the assessor's department or treasurer's department in that sense. So, but in terms of expanding the permitting itself, it will go to any department who has any sort of permitting, in theory, and moving along. So it could be planning, conservation, any of those type of things, could all go into an permitting system. Beyond that, the forms, we are working on a documentation system that would start dealing with more and more of those forms in terms of abatement form gets put in, and then it gets put into some sort of a workflow, which would then also, number one, timestamps, reply to the customer on, the resident on what's happening with it or what that has been received. And then basically tasks for the user similar to an e-permitting system. So that all is being worked on. Software has already been purchased for documentation in terms of digitization, which this kind of brings us back into that part of it, the digitization of any forms or any documents we currently have for, I mean, not just abatements, but really anything else.
Well, I appreciate the response and I wanted it directed towards Mr. Kaczynski because I don't think it's your job to push it. I think it's his job to push it.
It's been pushed, honestly, it's in my goal system. In terms of, long-term goals, when we discussed the digitization, and the software purchased for that. It is, you know, as we've talked about, we don't have like a set in 6 months we'll be here because there's just so much going on with the permitting and as well. But like a 3 to 5 year plan on really having this moving forward. The website will be doing some of that as well, being able to add different things to the website. So there's a lot of stuff like that he's directed me to work on, and we've already been doing it.
Thank you.
If I could just tag on to that,
Yeah.
would that also include e-signing, e-execution of these digitized documents?
I had discussions about DocuSign and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it can. So in the system I bought, there is or purchase, there is a approval flow in that. And depending on what we decide as a town, I don't know, legal or whatever like that in terms of signing it. But then beyond that, there is anything to the level of actually needing to be e-signed, Adobe sign, and we sign mortgage documents using Adobe sign at this point. So there should be no reason we can move towards that, but it would be part of this overall goal. Because even the system, the software digitization system has capability to integrate the Adobe sign into it as well.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting, when Global e-sign was enacted in 1999. And we're still talking about, can we really e-sign something?
Yeah, some of it is what are we allowed to do by law in terms of, you know.
The only thing we can't do right now is, there's no e-notarization for recording of documents in Massachusetts and registries of deeds, which was passed 2 years ago. But we still can't do it. But I think everything else technically, other than probate documents, are now effectively, are effective and enforceable with e-sign.
Right, one of the things which is the learning part from not only my perspective and then the teaching part from my perspective, but is how to use those things within the town. And that's with, you know, with my time here has been learning what the town needs. And I mean, as I've talked about many of the projects I've worked on, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in the town to do. So these are all things of somebody needs to be taking the lead on it to learn about those and make sure we're implementing them correctly. Is probably the best way to say it, because we could implement anything tomorrow. It's just how would it be implemented, or would it be another scatterbrain type system?
Go ahead, continue.
The next in the forms was just the position forms, which is just me. I have that full-time position. Again, I went about 2.5 years ago into full-time.
I'm not trying to leapfrog
Nope,
the
go ahead.
current budget, but at what point are you gonna need an assistant?
So that's a good point. So, I mean, from my perspective, so I have an outside consulting firm. It's called an MSP, managed service provider, that we do employ. They're a 24/7 provider. So they do a lot of I would say the more specific technical things.
Okay.
They also do day-to-day help desk, things like that. They are 24/7, which helps out a lot, in terms of their systems as well. For me, needing an assistant, honestly, the biggest thing I would need an assistant for is my bills and things like that. I tend to get behind on those. But at this point, it'd be difficult to hire somebody to do those type of things.
Such a question.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense, and Mike and I have actually talked about it several times in terms of, you know, what is that threshold when you get to that point? And right now, a lot of it, I wouldn't say learning, because I've been here now 5 years, so I understand the town, but it's learning the priorities and then making sure, again, as we're doing things we talked about with the keep up system at the library, making sure we're consistent around that, and not having different systems everywhere that only this one person knows how to use. You know, and that's been the key of making sure we're trying to bring all that into common knowledge, where it's not just one person knows it.
Thank you.
So then in the budget, so as we see, my budget didn't increase dramatically. The biggest part inside the budget that went up a little bit was the annual license fees, that is mostly due to Microsoft Office. It was slightly underfunded last year. And part of the reason for that is I'm working on, currently the bill is due in April. And I'm at the end of April, and I'm gonna go month to month and move that into an August timeframe. So it's done at the beginning of the fiscal year. It just makes everything easier budgeting and everything simpler on myself. So that's one thing that's why I was able to underfund it a little bit last year, but now it has to go back to normal funding. Plus, adding some users and licenses for example, this board is fully licensed for Microsoft Office. The permanent building committee, we decided to fully license all of them, so all their correspondence is done through Millis emails. There's a couple extra licenses there. I always need to make sure I have a couple extra licenses in case something comes up. So we are gonna be needing some extra licenses for next year. We're also moving to a different time time recording system, or not system, that's the wrong word, portal. And that portal, for Munis requires the email to log into it instead of just an employee number and password. So I need some extra licenses for some certain people for that as well.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Pete.
Mr. Donovan, how did you reduce the software maintenance budget so significantly in 26, and are you gonna keep it that way for the foreseeable future?
Change the type of software you use.
So that's a good question, and it's really, I did not reduce it, it's just got moved around. So that's one of the things with the 25 to 26 budget. As you see, even if you look up, the annual license fees went up in that significantly. And then even the consulting services went way up.
That's
So things just got moved around in terms of where they were. They also got moved around within departments themselves. One of the things, for example, would be phone systems. When I talked about moving over to Zoom phone systems, before that, fire was paying their own phone bill. Police was paying their own phone bill, and then we had, I believe it was actually town administrator's office was paying the rest of the phone bill for the town hall. So those three got combined and moved into my budget. And then I was able to save money by switching off our previous vendor and going into Zoom as well.
Thank you.
So that's where some of those discrepancies, when you're looking at 25 to 26, will be significant.
Go ahead, Joyce.
So Zoom is an actual phone service?
Yeah, yeah, it's just like, it's the background, like you have Verizon or you have a Comcast phone at home, a VoIP phone at home. So the company we used to use was TPX. So, and then we just moved into what's called a Zoom phone, but it's just it's called VoIP, Voice over Internet Protocol. So it's just the vendor that provides us that phone number.
2 years ago, I didn't even know that either.
Well,
some phones.
yeah, I mean, you refer to Zoom phones and I'm thinking, okay, so the phone I use in my office down at the center.
Yep, that's a Zoom.
That's a Zoom
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah,
It's all behind the scenes.
You don't notice
The
any
actual-
difference, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I
Yeah.
found that the audio is much clearer, but otherwise you wouldn't know that we switched over it. We have the same physical phone.
Yeah.
It just switched.
And the numbers.
system switched.
Right. Yeah, one of the benefits to me was ease of use in terms of making changes in the system. There's some automation in terms of putting in the call tree for the voice when you call into the phone. It used to be, I believe, Karen. And now it's an automated voice.
Mm.
One of the things that allows you to do is make quick changes on the fly, and you don't have to record a 2.5 minute message just because you changed, building from being press 1 to press 2. You can just go in and make that change in text wise, and it reads it off. So there's a lot of functionality there. The other thing it provided for any of the town users, if they want to add Zoom to their laptop or to their cell phone like I do, where if you call me, you have no idea where I am. I could be in this building, I could be at police, fire, it doesn't matter. I will answer my cell phone, and if you think you're calling my desk.
just to keep things moving, above service request.
Yeah, so the above service level request is specifically for the police station.
Yep.
So our servers, physical servers there are reaching end of life. We actually had one fail a couple weeks ago. So we're down to one physical server there. We do have a backup plan if that one does fail, so that's not I wouldn't say it's a non-critical issue, but we can survive if something does happen. But that being said, moving to the cloud is my recommendation. One of the specific reasons is the biggest reason the police needs a server is because of their I don't even know what to call it, but the police software called IMC. And the chief has been looking at other options that are what's called software as a service, which basically means it's in the cloud and you don't need a physical server for it. Prime example would be Munis. Munis, we don't have a server for, it's a software as a service we pay for in the cloud.
Okay.
So the chief is looking at police software that would be in the cloud as well. He's not quite ready to move to that, but eventually will be. One of the things with moving this to the cloud, so the approximate cost I put in there is about $2,000 a month. That's from the history of when we used to have cloud services here in the town hall, and just looking at basically guesstimates of how much usage and stuff like that, which I'm pretty confident in that number. But if we go away from using that and move to a true cloud service for our police software, that becomes legacy, and that cost will still be needed, because we still have a server running with software from before this IMC. Because you have to keep it for, if there's any police action that comes up 20 years later, the court case is still available.
And that can't be migrated to a cloud service or some,
No,
who knows?
unfortunately, and that's one of the things a lot of these companies and these other departments have had issues with, of taking data out of it. If you
Yeah.
can get data out of it, you're just getting a basic PDF. You're not getting a true database or the actual information out of it. So most
them that way.
departments, most departments need them. When I was there, Norfolk, when I was there, they have legacy systems that they still maintain as well for the same exact reason. But once that does happen, this becomes legacy and the cost will go way down in terms of, that 2,000 would become, say, 500 a month.
You don't even need one license instead of 30 licenses.
Right, because you're not having people, and you could even only turn the computer on once a week because they just need access. And it would get less and less as the 6
Sure.
years go on, because you need to get in there less and less, so.
Yeah.
That's why part of the reason I think we should go with the cloud software. I think if you looked at a 5-year plan, the cloud would be a little bit more than doing a physical server. But that would also mean that it'd be required a capital request for a physical server. You have a little more maintenance on it, you have more queries on it. This is cloud, you're good, you don't really have to worry about it. There is time to get this up and running, because we have to go through the state and get full state approval on moving it to the cloud. So they can have it set up in, say, a week or two, but then it would take 3 months.
Yeah.
Or if not more, to get state approval for us to actually start using it.
Okay.
But that is something that the MSP I mentioned before would be handling.
Any final questions for IT before we shift to FinCom stuff? Go ahead, Pete, and then
What's
you.
the contingency plan in an event of like a cloud outage or an internet outage? Like is there something built in that?
There's not really, to be honest. I mean, one of the things, that's one of the reasons you use, higher level cloud, which is Microsoft, Amazon. We'd be using Microsoft, but that's why usually those types is because they're gonna get up pretty fast. It does happen, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. Microsoft had an email outage.
Yeah.
And it was down for several hours. You'd have the same thing if you had a physical server down for several hours. It sucks, but they can handle it while it's down.
Good, Ed.
So 2 questions. What is an IMC system? What is that?
So basically, it's the police software. It's where they enter in, when they stop a car, when they have a prosecution of somebody. So it's just their database for arrests and things like that. I've never used it. I honestly don't fully know. All I know is police software. I don't have any access to it.
Yeah.
Great question for the chief.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Hopefully not at the side of the road after I was speeding.
Hopefully you find out here and on the side of the road.
But basically, it's the software they use for all their stuff. So, and they have several different types most of them are in the cloud. This is the last one that's not. So the fire has one called Bricks, and they have one called IMC, and an old one called Pamet. So these are all just names of software they use. To be honest, I don't fully know if we should go.
Okay, and then the second part of my question is, why Azure? Are we using it already?
Yes.
Azure Cloud?
So
Okay,
that is part of it. That's where all of our Microsoft accounts are. So that's one of the things in the town hall. And this kind of segues into a little bit of what I'll talk about in a minute.
Yeah.
But in the town hall, we've moved away from physical servers completely because we use Microsoft for everything.
right, okay, that makes sense. I was just curious if we had compared like Google Cloud, AWS, but
Yep.
it sounds like Azure's here already.
Yeah, we already have some of the systems. It's the same logins, the same everything we'd be using for it. So it just makes the most sense for us to be there.
And how many years have we been using it? Like
We've
7?
been using since 2019, in
Not bad.
terms of, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Azure, we used from 2019 up until, I believe it was 2 years ago, I stopped using it here. So Azure, when I'm talking about Azure specifically, I'm meaning, servers and computers in the cloud.
Yep.
So we stopped using that here about 2 years ago due to cost. And for our functionality, because everything we have is software as a service, we didn't need servers in the cloud anymore. And this is the last legacy one really within the town that we still have. that needs a physical server for.
Good, Mike?
Is there any possibility that we will someday integrate the schools and the town together in one IT system?
That is a great question, and the answer is flat out no.
When Jody comes to speak, and Mike, you can speak if you want, but, she'll talk about some of the integration that's happening, but
There is some.
It's-
level of
it's
integration,
multi-level.
but most Of it
Yeah.
are difficult.
Yeah.
There's things that the school can get for free or a much reduced rate than what we can get because of just different companies. So to integrate it would cause some issues, and there's other issues, which
Mhm.
I would probably defer to Jody or
Okay.
that could explain that, but there'd be a lot of hurdles there. And I'm not aware of any towns around here or in the state that really try to attempt to fully integrate that.
Fully integrated in terms of the systems in the school and town. I don't know of any town that's done that in terms of the IT for the town. I know several towns have done that, with some success, some hurdles,
Mhm.
in terms of that, depending on when they went to it. But the biggest thing is really the technologies are different. The use cases are very different. And like Mike was saying too, they get some stuff for free, so trying to segregate out what's free, what's not. Most people in the town prefer, and I think in business world prefer using some sort of Microsoft Excel, Word, things like that, and not Google Docs
Mhm.
for everything they do.
Yep.
The schools do use it and they stand by it and feel they can do everything we can do in Excel, but, I take that with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Yeah,
By
I
getting
do
it
too.
for free.
All right.
transition into
And just a
kind
little
of
bit.
change the, thank you, Mike. Have a good night.
I don't think so, Mike.
Mm,
So basically, this does transition us a little bit in terms of, what we use for cloud services from Microsoft.
Yeah,
So one of the things that we did for all the town, files is move over to SharePoint. SharePoint is basically Microsoft's cloud storage. So we use it when I access it and the rest of the town, employees access it. It's just like a network drive that most people have had at work somewhere. So that's how we access it as a folder. We don't notice, or a town employee doesn't notice really any difference to it. One of the things that you guys, the way your board will be using it is, Jody and, John and Michael have, added access to a SharePoint, folder system, for the finance committee. And then the rest of the board has read only. That is more for legal reasons than anything else of, you know, if multiple people edit the same document, you've now created a quorum. So this prevents that from happening by just eliminating any possibility of you editing those documents.
just to jump in there. So, Jody Kersey's been doing a great job in terms of getting material from each department on her shared drive, if you will. And then once those are revised and finalized, then Jody and Amanda work together in terms of getting those documents over to the FinCom folder.
Again, I think
And
like,
is that in the Outlook? Is that in our? Where is that from?
Yes.
He's gonna explain
I'll-
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gonna show you and we'll bookmark it
I
for
think it
you.
also points one thing as well, that, you know, we have also got to be very careful in communicating outside of our committee and within our committee. A lot of times in doing things, because we can hit a quorum situation. And be violative of certain state regulations regarding meetings and so forth. So it's why we do everything through the chair. It makes it safer for us, all of us, and it's one point of contact. So, you know, we just need to be mindful of that when we're out there. We're a committee, and the committee can reach a quorum very easily in a lot of different situations, like when we go to a specific board meeting. If there's more than, 5 of us?
Yeah.
We have to call a meeting. And we have to have an agenda, and we have to have published that as a meeting prior to this, so. To always be mindful when you're communicating within the town, especially on town email, and really, you have to be very careful of communicating about town stuff with town people outside of town email. Because that too is violative of certain regulations. Maybe one day we should have, you know, somebody come in and really just talk to us a little bit about the open meeting laws and all of that stuff too, just to be careful.
Yeah, that does matter. I mean, I've talked with Karen a little bit, and that is on a plan as well for to have like a welcome packet to a board and have a lot of the information in there of instructions on what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, because it does, and it matters too what size board you are, how many people that matters. But that's why, you know, you should not be getting or responding to any emails, you know, that are to the entire board, because now you're kind of creating forums with that. So everything should be, if you are communicating for something else, you should be communicating directly with the person you're dealing with. Any files, things like that, any updates you want made to the site, we just email Amanda, and Amanda would put it there.
So do you wanna show us
Yep.
real quick on how we can bookmark, and I just did it for you?
Yeah, I did it this afternoon and connected with Authenticator. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could.
You want me to mute it from here?
Nope, I had to mute myself, sorry. So Amanda, can you, oh, you're Amanda, ready? Perfect, so, we just.
Try to have Amanda share.
Nope, I will do it.
Same number of Brady.
This with the companies that I.
So this year, everybody on the board was sent a link, to this finance committee folder. You will not see the same folders I see, this chair folder you won't see. But here is any other folders that you can see, you can view. Again, you cannot edit, but from there you can click on, the different folder. We have, for example, tonight's meeting. From there, you can click on and view or download. If you see over here on the right, there is a download button. So you could download it to your computer, print it out at home if you wanted to. But most of the time, you can just click on it, it'll open up in a browser. So this is a little bit, I briefly mentioned before about licensing and things like that. So the license that everyone in the board has is web-only licensing. But for example, say there was well, actually, you guys can't edit, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Most of us
So-
already have it
so-
on our laptops already.
So, and if you wanted to edit something or do something, you would, the process for you would be to download it, make the edits on it and email it to Amanda. And then that would go through Amanda and John before it would get posted.
So a couple thoughts here. So trying to just streamline internally, since Amanda's now here and Deidre's not, in terms of her printing off, Deidre, that is, printing off stuff before and then revise things. Now it's coming to a centralized point, which is Jody, and then funneling down to Amanda and then to us. So if you ever need the most revised things, go to the folder to retrieve it versus looking in an email or an attachment. We're trying to
Right.
get away from that. On that same note, I had Amanda print these out because some of us like to have paper still and some don't. And I guess kind of the question is, do people want paper or are people going to their desktops or laptops to do it? It's an open question. So just as a hypothetical though, so I download the PDF that Jim was referring to. And then I just make edits on the PDF of my questions and things like that. But that's me.
Perhaps we can just, each person can make their decision and then give it to Amanda. So if some of us don't want it printed, we don't get it printed. If somebody does, they do.
Yeah, or just have a standard of five
Yeah.
copies here or something like that. I mean, whatever works. That's just more getting a feel for it. And we don't have to decide tonight, but
Right. My goal, I mean, again, this is my recommendation. I always say I make recommendations, not decisions.
yeah,
But my recommendation is trying to go as paperless as we can be. I mean, as you see, this one's 37 pages,
yeah.
printed out 9 times. So it definitely eats up a lot of cost. I mean, I can see, you know, of our printing costs and stuff like that. When I go for the next contract, they can be like, hey, we printed less this year, you know, and save money on those contracts. So that'd always be a good thing. Cause even to my point, if we need some digital help, it'd be almost cheaper to say, buy some iPads for people to use instead of doing paper all the time. Not that that'd be my preference, but that's definitely something that we could do.
And not that I'm trying to, you know, we can do two things. If you're at home, you can print it off at home if you want to. Or if you wanted to say, hey, you know what, I'd like a copy of this. I wanna write some notes down later. She can always print it here, but it's on a more of a one-on-one basis instead of on a.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is that Amanda we'll do our best and try not to, because again, this is a slightly new process, but not email any files to any. Because one of the big things that always happens or can happen is, oh, I saw the last email, I didn't get the newest email, or I clicked on the wrong one, so now I'm using old data.
Right.
So this way she'll say, things have been updated on the website. So you go here and you look at the most current version all the time. There's never any doubt which version you have. You have the newest figure on the website.
Question?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think as long as we know if something's been updated, like I'm fine with it not being printed, because I print it at home, like that's the way I like to read it and review it. So I don't need like the printed copy at
Yeah.
the meeting. As long as I know, like before a meeting, oh, something changed, and then I can just make sure I saw whatever changed.
Yeah, I think the process would be Amanda would, if she makes a change,
Yeah.
she'll email them and say a change has been made.
So my goal is always trying to get all this information out as quickly as possible instead of 1 or 2 days before. Sometimes
this
that's
was great how
possible,
everybody-
sometimes it's not. But if we can get out earlier and we can read it and digest it, you know, maybe you're at home, you print off just a section or two versus the whole thing. And then that way also, if there's revisions that come in, you know, we can read it and like catching some of the form numbers and numbers that were off, we can always say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go talk to library again, because these numbers aren't adding up, or what was it, animal or whatever it was that weren't adding up in the fiscal 27 column. So I think that will help improve the accuracy of things too.
I know, and I know that it's budget. I do not choose to print it off at my home. Because I have a contract with my HP printer. And I spend so much money on X, Y,
Sure.
and Z, and I'm already spending more printing things at home for the Council on Aging and now this, and I've spent just, I mean, my plan is $7 a month, and this month, because of all the printing I've done, I was charged $40. So I don't wanna, this is my volunteer.
You don't wanna print off 37 pages.
Right, I don't want to, so therefore I would I'm old school, I like paper.
I do too.
I like paper, so for me, I would love to have this, because then I can, and if it's just before me, you know, the morning of or whenever, if I have to come and get it, that's fine. But,
You wanna read it ahead of time? in paper.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
yeah, I do.
Let's work through that together then.
So that I can, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind reading it on this, but I do like the formal
Yeah, reading
paper.
a book on, you know, in paper versus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Not specifically, no.
Any questions before Jim
No, I think
signs off?
if you haven't signed up for it already, you're gonna get, when you link onto that, it's gonna ask you to download Authenticator. You probably already have Authenticator because you have email. And it's gonna give you a little code, barcode that you're gonna go on your phone. And it's gonna then give you access to that. You won't get access to it before.
I'm gonna say, I find that an enormous pain.
I do.
have to do that, sorry.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the attachments, like, I would even, print, but like to have to go on to a SharePoint with an authenticator.
Well, if you-
Well, Authenticator is just once.
It's just once.
It's just once.
It's just once.
So what I do is I have everything bookmarked to the bar, so I can do email and then the folder, and I have everything right there then.
Basically,
I know.
once you click on it, it's very fast. It goes right to.
Other things.
It's like when we go-
it's One more thing.
It's really not significantly different than when she would tell us,
Yeah.
click on this link, it's up on the website, and she used to
Yeah.
post the stuff to the town website, so it's just
Yeah, well,
it's more consolidated.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put paper out.
All right, fair enough.
Okay.
I think we're good then.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you for
Thank you very much.
your budget, and the overview here.
No
So,
problem.
For setting it all up too, appreciate it.
Anytime.
Yeah, have a good night.
Take care.
So just,
Go ahead.
you have a final?
No, I've heard how you bookmark.
I'll
it.
show you that in
Yeah,
a second.
afterwards,
I'll show
yeah.
that. So,
Thank you, sir.
couple things, so, kind of the regular process, I'm not picking on you, Heidi, but, so, Heidi had questions for the rec department, and we all have questions as we read through this material. the process is to have the department come in, present and draft out your questions ahead of time. And if you want to send them to me ahead of time as well, but most likely they're going to answer 70 to 80% of what we are thinking in terms of questions, whether that's a capital request or a budget item or a line shift or whatever. But if it's something more, we can also have follow-up questions to those departments as well. And I think that's good for everybody because everybody's thinking the same thing and probably wants to know the same information as well. So that's that for questions. We do have to vote on one invoice here.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I move the committee vote to approve $129.88 paid to Gannett New England Local IQ for printing of fall town meeting material.
Second,
the motion second to approve the invoice for the printed material in the fall totaling, what was that,
$129.88.
129.88. All those in favor, please say aye.
uh,
Aye. Those opposed, abstain.
I have a paper copy.
Oh, yeah, we need to, I have a,
Oh, you got one? Okay, I got one.
Mike,
here, too.
pick it up.
Yeah, I got
We have to sign this on any invoices that we approved it, and decide.
The same invoice, just in here 3 times.
It is, it was carried over because it was never paid over the month. So the balance carried over, but the balance is still the same. Any old business, new business liaison updates in one breath?
we're doing great at the Council on Aging. We have a pen pal program with the 3rd grade class. Over at Clyde Brown. We've got 29 letters that came over, 29 senior citizens who are writing back and forth with these kids. They're printing the first that we just received the first letter. We are printing up, they're asking questions, telling us about themselves. We in turn answer their questions and ask them questions. 29 people are participating. We've gotten back 15 or 16 so far. The deadline's the February 18th. It is absolutely stinking amazing how these kids, they are just thriving with it, and the senior citizens are as well. It's a wonderful program. We're doing it February, March, April with letters. And hopefully the April letter will be script as opposed to print, because the kids are now learning script again in school. And then in May, we're going to have a designated place where we'll meet and meet the kids, and they'll meet their pen pal. And
Great, perfect.
so yeah,
That is so cool.
it is. It's really neat.
Any CPC stuff or?
Nothing major. The
Okay.
CPCs are, gearing up for the same meeting that we are.
Exactly.
And continuing to make some progress on adopting the ClearGov software. So,
Perfect. And just another, Amanda and I are gonna meet after here to map out the rest of the season, so I'm trying to front load some of these meetings and availability based on departments, so keep everybody updated on all that stuff.
Okay, move to adjourn? Sorry.
Is there a tri-board scheduled? Don't we?
There was March 26th was proposed. School committee said they could not do it because they wouldn't have a quorum, so right now it's in limbo of what date.
We're required to meet quarterly.
Yes,
March 26th is pretty much the end of the quarter.
Was it?
well, I don't think it's necessarily per calendar.
It's 4 times a year.
quarterly, 4 times a year.
4 times a year.
So as soon as I hear, I
One day in a
will.
row.
Yeah.
A long
Thank you.
weekend.
Exactly.
I second the one.
Good.
Are we meeting, are we gonna talk about the next couple of meetings, knowing that they're still in limbo, or?
Well, no, tri-board, so tri-board is school committee, finance committee, select board.
But
That's
for-
in limbo.
For next FinCom, it says the 25th,
Yeah.
we're not meeting next. week.
Not me because of school vacation, and we don't meet on April school vacation as well.
All right.
Correct,
So the 25th is our next.
correct. And we're gonna work out the next lineup of departments.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Do you happen to know the date in April if we're not meeting?
sure. It's like usually the 3rd week, so I can tell you exactly in 1 second. It is, you can get there fastest. How about the 20?
Well, it shows here the 8th, the 15th, and then the 29th, so 15 plus.
Second.
The
So-
22nd,
so
we are
the
not meeting.
22nd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good thing somebody's reading this.
Yeah, I'll take
Motion adjourned and seconded, all in
second,
favor?
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for a late